Is Games Workshop's new pricing model killing demand? Welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're going to take a look at Games Workshop's website and see if there's a common theme between some of the new releases. If you're anything like me, you've noticed that throughout the last year or so, there's been a lot of items that were selling out instantly. You couldn't even get them at all. Allocations were extremely limited for stores and for pre-orders, and many of the items were either completely limited or you went directly to Games Workshop's website and were sold out immediately. Now, they did a couple things to try to improve on this, such as the queue system, but lately the queue system has disappeared. And one could argue that it wasn't working to begin with. So by the time they actually implemented it, it may have been too late. But one thing that hasn't gone away is their new ridiculously high prices. And now if you're anything like me, you've heard some of the chatter lately about people switching games or getting tired of Games Workshop or just constant complaining. And while I've come to expect that in the Warhammer and Games Workshop community, there's arguments to be made that this time things could be different. So here are two of the new releases that have come out. Red Harvest, $210. The Kill Team Chalnath, $170. And two of the items that people have been specifically complaining about, as well as the Warhammer Underworld's Harrow Deep as well. This was one of the best value box sets for like new people looking to play one of Games Workshop's games. It went from $65, $75, $85, and now $95 for the set with just a handful of miniatures in a game that's arguably not that popular. But you can't say the same thing about Warcry. While it's not quite as popular as the main big box games, there's definitely an argument to be had that it was overall pretty fun and pretty popular. And with the last Warcry starter set going from 150 was the original in USD, and then the next one went to 210 but came with the full rule book, the Warcry Red Harvest has just come out, and while it's arguably still around the same terrain and two warbands included, they've made a couple changes with it as well. They did bring back the cards, which was something that I think is a good idea for like terrain and setups and everything, but they got rid of the second rulebook. So previously with the Warcry set, you got your two warbands. You got also, let me just scroll through here. So we still have our two warbands around the same size, so that's comparable. And then terrain-wise, you get about the same amount of terrain. Very nice terrain set, new terrain. Overall, I think a great deal as far as the terrain. And then you comes with your dice. These are new dice. They have a little sharper of corners than the other rounded ones. You get your token sheets. You get your data cards for your gangs. Just like I said, you get the actual cards. But now we notice here with the new rulebook, with the Catacombs rulebook, you got a regular Warcry rulebook, and then you also got the Catacombs rulebook. With this one, we only get the Red Harvest book, but it includes the rules necessary to play the game. So they've sort of like gotten rid of one book there. Now you still get your game board as well, but again, the price is $210, which arguably is a little high for a starter game, in my opinion at least. So that's our Warcry set. Now let's take a look back at the Kill Team set. Now first off, talking about supply and demand, here we have the Kill Team Octarius set, which again was supposed to be a limited release, and they actually have another starter set, like smaller one, coming behind this. So this obviously they intended or at least expected that it was going to sell out. They even offered the limited edition combat gauges as well, which you may have noticed on that last screen are still available. So what exactly is going on here? $200 for this set, so slightly cheaper than the Warcry set. Quite a bit of terrain, a core book, and then an additional book, your token sheets, your cards, your dice, your combat gauges. And then obviously your two gangs as well. So arguably about the same as the previous one. Good deal, bad deal. I suppose it's up to you. I mean, I can't tell you whether or not something's worth spending your money on. I bought these. I thought they were cool. I thought the terrain was great. But again, you could tell that something has changed here. Because Games Workshop was expecting this to sell out. Matter of fact, they had the queue system set up for this and almost immediately dropped off. And it's not like there's just a couple of these left in stock. You can still get as many of them as you want. Now, here it only lets us add one quantity to the cart, but it's clearly still in stock. So what exactly is going on here? Is this a good deal? I mean, the last Kill Team set was like between around 150 bucks. So that's like a 33% increase in this, and it didn't sell out. And then obviously we have the new set, Chalnath, and I have heard quite a bit of negative feedback about this one. Again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad deal, but I'm not sure it's a great deal for most people either. Once again, we get only the expansion rulebook. It does not come with the starter set rulebook. We're not going to get any of the cards. You're not going to get any of the dice. You're not going to get the measuring tools or the barricades. In this one, you just get the expansion book, your decals and board, and then your 2 teams, and then the terrain sets. So you're basically losing out on the actual core rulebook, which is like $40 to $50. You're losing out on the dice. You're losing out on the cards. You're losing out on the combat gauges and the little barricades. So for $30 cheaper, you're getting a lot less stuff. And a matter of fact, if you go and look at the prices of those things, you'll see the rulebook is like 40 or 50 bucks. The gauges, the tokens, and the barricades, the dice, all that other stuff is like 40 or 50 bucks too. So you're arguably paying $30 less for about $75 to $100 worth less in value. So, and you can call it value or not. Maybe you don't think it's a good idea. Maybe you do. But the fact of the matter is the price is slightly lower, but you're getting quite a bit less for that price as well. So, without digging too deep into that, once again, we can see this was supposed to be a limited stock, and you can put 10 of them in your cart right now, no problem. The queue system didn't even happen for this one, and I've noticed that the feedback from the community is very, very powerful in one direction, and people are not pleased with this. Now, I really like this terrain set. It's very similar, if not exactly the same amount of terrain that came in the original set. You also got like the 2 gangs, the Gene Stealer Cult and AdMech. I actually like the Tau and Sisters better. There's unique sculpts for the sisters in this. The Tau have an extra expansion sprue that's otherwise not available. So I don't dislike this set. I actually like it a lot. But the difference is the old Kill Team set was between like 120 and 150. Granted, it was a few years ago, but this one's 170. So again, we're seeing like 30 to 50% price inflation. So I can understand why there's definitely some feedback on this, especially when it doesn't even come with the starting rulebook. So I don't know. I mean, let's just take a quick look here also. So here we see, I want to see one without the other book. So here we have the core rulebook is $50. The TAC Ops cards are $18. So that's $68. And then we have the tokens, the measuring, like combat gauges, and the barricades. So that is $103 it would cost for all that stuff. That is not coming in your Chalnath starter set, plus the dice. So even if you don't give the dice any value, you're getting $103 less, and you're paying $30 less. So arguably they've cut a lot of the actual value out, and maybe they were expecting the Octarius set to be super limited and sell out quickly. I imagine they were. They even offered the metal incentive combat gauge, which they didn't previously. I'm sorry, like only for the exclusive offers from their website. So they were definitely expecting this to sell out in limited numbers, and obviously it has underperformed. If a couple months later the first expansion has come out and it's still not gone. So is it the demand that people just don't want the product? Is it that people are tightening up their budget a little bit because everything's reopening and going back to normal? Or are they starting to price out people, especially like new players to the game, who are maybe a little less used to the frequent releases of products and ever increasing prices? So now let's take a look at the Black Templars as well. So once again, we'll notice with the Black Templars, the new releases are out this week. You'll notice here, this was the first of these limited edition starter sets that they've gotten some serious flack on. Again, priced at $199, and in this case, only coming with 13 models and not even a core Space Marine rulebook, just the Black Templars expansion. There was a lot of kickback on this set, and was the first one, once again, that hasn't sold out. The Beast Snagga Boys were sold out instantly. The Sisters of Battle one from a while ago sold out extremely quick. But in this case, there's still plenty of these available, and we see no limited supply or anything from GW. So what's the deal here? Did they cut out so much value it's just not worth it? Or do people just not like Black Templars? I don't know. I mean, the question's up to you. But if we just kind of take a look at the pricing on this, I'm not sure how much a Redemptor Dreadnought is. $65 for the Redemptor Dreadnought. So let's take a look here and just kind of price this one out and see. Because for me, I just feel like the value is not there. Now you can argue it's a limited edition cover codex, but it's not like the exclusive collector's edition one. It's just one that comes in the box. So if we take this expansion codex supplement, $30, we take the data cards, $15, that's 45 bucks, and then we just scroll on down, we figure the Emperor's Champion is in there. So we have our initial $45 plus 35, so that's 80. And then we take one box of the Crusaders, that is $140, plus the Marshal is $175, plus 65 for the Dreadnought, that is $240. So you're saving about 20% on that set. So it is better than just buying the kits individually, but is it actually a good deal? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you once again. And now right afterwards, the Combat Patrol came out. So here we have the new Combat Patrol. And once again, let's take a look at this. It's the Crusader Squad, the Marshal, 5 Intercessors, and a tank. So basically it's the tank instead of the Dreadnought. Pretty much an even swap. You still get these guys. You still get the High Marshal. But you're basically swapping out the Emperor's Champion for a squad of Intercessors, 5. So, and then also in this kit, you're going to get the upgrade sprue as well, which is like $30 or $35 on its own. So arguably, this is $140. The tank and the Dreadnought cost about the same. The Emperor's Champion and 5 Intercessors, relatively close. So in this, you're paying $60 less, and you're getting the upgrade sprue included in the $60 less, and then you're losing out on the codex supplement and the cards. So you're basically losing out on $45 worth of items. Most people don't necessarily buy the cards either, and then you're getting in this a $30 sprue, and it's costing you $60 less. So this is actually a $15, arguably if you were going to buy that sprue additionally with the other set, it would cost you $230 to get that. And with this set, it would be $140. Let's say you bought the codex and the cards separately, you would spend another $45 on that. So you're talking about $185 versus $230. So again, you're saving like 50 bucks almost just by buying the Combat Patrol. So should the Combat Patrol be a better deal than the limited starter set? Is that why it's not sold out? I really don't know, but I mean, there's definitely an argument to be made that they tried to trim a little too much value out of the set, and then that's why it didn't sell out. Maybe that's not the case. I really don't know, but here we see the upgrade and transfer sprue is actually $35, and it's not even like you get 2 of them, you get 1 of the sprues. So this is $35 for 1 upgrade sprue with the transfers. So including that in the $140 set, I mean, that's a nice chunk of the value right there. So, I mean, unless you really needed a Redemptor Dreadnought, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely something changing here. I was getting to the point where everything was selling out before you even had a chance to get it. And now Games Workshop has slowly been increasing their prices, providing less value in their sets. And now all of a sudden, they're not selling out anymore. And there's quite a bit of flack from the community. So I don't know. Are we seeing a trend here? Is Games Workshop going to pick up on it and maybe start to reduce their prices again? Or are they just clueless to it? Am I overreacting? Maybe I'm just only hearing the negativity from a lot of the other people out there. But like, for instance, I was borderline on buying the Black Templar set, and I chose not to. And honestly, the Combat Patrol looks like a much better deal. But realistically, the Combat Patrol is a pretty good deal, but it's not amazing. I mean, it's as good as the other Combat Patrols are, But realistically, I don't really need any intercessors. I definitely don't need any extra, tanks. So, am I going to buy basically this set? Well, for the squad and the marshal, that would be $95. And then the sprue on top of that is 35 bucks. So if I was going to buy all those anyway, I would spend 130 bucks and basically get a tank and the intercessors for free. So yeah, I would probably buy it. But to tell you the truth, I haven't really played as many games lately, so I was less interested in the codex and the cards, especially with the frequency of like new codexes and stuff coming out. I really wasn't that worried about it. So a lot of the value in the bigger set just wasn't there for me. And the truth is, if I was going to spend, $100+ on some new Templars, I would probably buy the Emperor's Champion, Chaplain Grimaldus, Hi Marshall Halbricht. I really like these new sculpts and these new characters, and honestly, I'd be more likely to pick those up and just add them to my existing army. I do like the Crusader squads. I do like the Sword Brethren. But again, I mean, I'm tempted to say that I might not even get those to add to my army, not right away, especially if I'm not going to be playing a game later on to paint up or some conversion sprues. Definitely interested in those, but it's just seems like they're pricing us out on a lot of this stuff, or at least curbing demand enough that it's like noticeable. And I'm typically a defender of Games Workshop and their pricing. I love their models, but at this point in time, if we're talking about like $140 to $200 for a starter army, or in the case of the limited box set, $200 for 13 models, there's a strong argument out there for the people that are saying, I'm just not going to buy their products and maybe I'll play a different game. Or maybe I'll just buy a 3D printer and print my own models. And as other, companies are creating legitimate sculpts that you can purchase for very cheap, or there's many free print versions, you can see there's definitely an argument that Games Workshop might be, kind of killing their fan base, at least a little bit. So we'll see. Like I said, I typically defend Games Workshop and at least get their back. I love their models. I love the high quality of the things that they do offer. But I'm definitely seeing lately a lot of pushback from the community. And then, also noticing myself not making some purchases that I might have otherwise made. So, I'm curious to hear your input, like your opinion. I definitely like the new models. They're coming out faster than you can literally pick them up, and maybe that has something to do with it as well. They're literally like countless models, countless new kits coming out like every weekend. So sometimes I skip some of the stuff because I have too much stuff I already haven't worked with, or I'm too busy, doing commissions, or maybe I just don't buy. I haven't bought any of the new books or anything just because I haven't been playing lately, and I'm tired of buying books, and then by the time I get around to playing, they're already invalidated. So I don't know. You guys give me your opinions. I'm curious to hear. You could argue with the, war bands here. They're $35 a piece for these. So two of them is 70 bucks, and the new starter set is only $85. So it's only another 15 bucks for all the other stuff that comes with it, the cards, the dice, the board. So maybe it is still a good deal in comparison. But the fact of the matter is that Games Workshop isn't just compared to itself. It's also compared to all the other games out there. And now with 3D printing as an option and, other competitive, for a long time, you could argue that Games Workshop had the better sculpts and there really wasn't anything out there to compete with them. But I just don't think that's the case anymore. And, for a long time, people argued that the game was better as well. And I'm not sure that's the case anymore either. So if the game's not better and the models aren't better and the prices are substantially higher, what's going to happen long term? I don't know. But in the meantime, I've noticed that there's definitely an argument to be made that if something doesn't change, it's probably not going to go well for Games Workshop in the long run. And again, I'm curious about your opinions. What do you guys think of this? Is the pricing just getting ridiculous? Do you think Games Workshop is going to realize when they start to see their sales dropping off or the inventory building up that maybe they're pricing things too high and they have to come down? Will they be quick to react? I noticed recently they did something they haven't done in a long time. They put a bunch of the new stuff on sale. So they had the Catacombs Warcry set. They had the I don't even know how to say it. It was like the new Sector Mechanicus terrain set that they recently released, and quite a few other things with like a 15% off sale to go through the website direct. They call it the Warhammer Day sale or whatever, but the truth is, are they just having some trouble moving stock? If they could sell it at full price, would they still put it on sale? I don't know. Maybe they would. Maybe they're just trying to be nice to us. Oh, and I was mistaken on that. It's not even $85. It's $95. So if you bought two of the clans, whichever ones you wanted to get, you're paying $70 for those retail and then another $25 for the game. So maybe it's not a bad deal, but unless you specifically want the two sets that come in this, maybe you'd rather just, piece it together yourself, or maybe you're just not going to play the game at all. I don't know. It's definitely there's definitely some changes happening here, and the community does not seem to be responding well to them. And even I'm noticing myself, a Games Workshop fanboy, not buying some of the new stuff when it comes out, or saying I'll put it off, or maybe avoiding it to see if I can, get a better deal down the line. I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about it. Let me know in the comments, but I definitely have noticed that things are changing and that all of a sudden the queue system seems to be gone, and arguably it wasn't even working to begin with. So if the queue system's gone, does that mean they're just getting way more supply in? Does it mean that people don't like the new products? People don't like the new prices? Does it mean that the economy in general is just slowing, and they're just ending up with a bunch of extra stuff because people just aren't buying things in general? I really don't know. It's probably a combination of all those things. But I know that if you have a bunch of new players and a bunch of new people that picked up the game in the last year or so, and then you're starting to scare away some of them, if you scare away 10 or 20 or 30% of your new or existing customers, all of a sudden what was a deficit of new products might turn into a surplus. Or if you just flood the market with too many products and too many games and too high of prices, a combination of all those things might just lead to excess product sitting around, and maybe price reductions in the future. Maybe not. I mean, I really don't know, but the truth is, there's definitely some things worth noticing happening here, and I'm curious if that's going to continue. We'll notice this was one of the sets that was just on sale that I couldn't think of the name of, the Battlezone Mechanicus Charadon. This was on sale for 15% off. This was supposed to be a limited stock, and obviously that's not selling out. Um, you know, this is basically what came in the old Kill Team set, the previous Kill Team set with the Tau and Reavers, for more than or at least the same price as I think this is the same price as the Kill Team set, but you don't get the book, you don't get either of the Kill Teams, you don't get the dice, the rulers, any of that stuff. You basically just get, the terrain, a couple different pieces. It's not the exact terrain that came in the set, but very close to it. And, minus 2 Kill Teams, the rules and the dice and the cards. It just seems like not only are they increasing the prices, but they're also giving you less product. So it's sort of like a stealth increase on top of an increase. It's like a double increase. And I also just noticed that Dominion is finally gone. As far as like the Warhammer set, Dominion was supposed to be limited, and obviously they offered that it would be made to order if it sold out, and that's not what I meant to go to. They offered it would be made to order if it was sold out, and it didn't ever sell out, and literally just now is gone from the store. I think that was a good deal, but it didn't come with any terrain, but came with a lot of models. It came with a full rule book. It came with everything, to play both those armies in the game. So I thought it was a good deal, but again, Sigmar not quite as popular as 40k. Maybe that was a factor. But I don't know. I just don't necessarily think that's the case. I think that, they were expecting that to sell out a lot better. Maybe that's the case with some of the new stuff too, like the Black Templars box, the Kill Team sets, and we're not going to see this common theme. Maybe they're going to lower prices to make up for the deficit in demand. But I know a lot of times once you burn someone, especially from a new game, they'll just go somewhere else. Or maybe they found this game, loved it, and then they got a little hesitant because of the pricing, and in the meantime they found something else, and maybe they won't be back. Maybe if we lower prices they will be back. Maybe things are just a little slow right now, or people are not spending the same way. I really don't know, but the truth is there's definitely something going on here. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the future kits as they release them. I know Warhammer Plus has not exactly been, the showstopper that they were intending. I've heard quite a lot of bad feedback about that. And just overall, I think people are starting to get a little soured on the company and also the hobby. So let me know what you think. I'm going to wrap it up there. This video went a little longer than I was even intending to, but I basically wanted to kind of get out my feelings on stuff there and some of the things I've noticed. Um, you know, Not uncommon to see just regular $35 for a single model now. Is that a deal? Is it a ripoff? Depends on the model, I guess. I mean, I think this is a cool model. I really like him, but for 35, I'm probably not going to pick him up. If it was 25, would I pick it up? Yeah, probably. But again, it's thematic, it's fun, it's collectible, but will it even sell out? I don't know. I love these models. I like them a lot. There's definitely an argument to collect them or whatever, but in the end, I just don't know if it's there. I think they might have reached the top end of their pricing model, maybe even exceeded it in some of these cases. So, but that's it. Going to go ahead and wrap it up there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really curious to hear your feedback as well. So let me know down in the comments. Give me a like, a share, subscribe, etc. I definitely appreciate it. But that's it for today, guys. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.